Hello everyone. So this week we are talking about a multicultural story and using at least one puppet to go along with it. So the story I'm reading is called Islandborn by Junot Diaz. The puppets that I would suggest using are the animals that are in the story. So there are bats and birds and dolphins and whales and fishes and all different kinds of animals. And you can use them throughout the story when they pop up and, give them to the kids and they can play with them, or you can do them yourself and just do like little hand puppets or whatever. We just didn't have any on the library, so I couldn't really show you guys, but that could be an idea to use if you had some colorful tropical puppets or stuffed animals on hand. So this is Islandborn by Junot Diaz. I think I'm saying his name right. I'm not 100% sure. And also there are some, I think they're Spanish words. The Junot Diaz I looked up is a Dominican Republican author. He's from the Dominican Republic. And the story is slightly based on the history of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. So again, there might be some Spanish type words in here, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce them. I took Spanish in high school and college like forever ago, so I kind of remember a little bit of it, but my pronunciation might be off. So this is Islandborn by Junot Diaz. Every kid in Lola's school was from somewhere else. Hers was the school of faraway places. Mine was from a city so big that it looked like its own country. India and Camilla were from a stony village at the tippy top of the world. Mateo lived in a desert so hot even the cactus fainted. Nu was born in a jungle famous for its tigers and its poets. And Lola was from the island. So when her teacher, Miss Obi, told the class, "Please draw a picture of the country you're originally from, your first country, and bring it in tomorrow," everyone got super excited. "I'll put in pyramids," said Dahlia. "And I'll draw a canal this long," Franklin said. "There's going to be a mongoose in mine," Nelson yelled. Nelson always yelled. Everyone was talking about their drawings, everyone but Lola. Lola, you see, loved to draw, but she had left the island when she was just a baby, so she didn't remember any of it. Lola raised her hand. She hated raising her hand almost as she hated Nelson's yelling. "Miss, what if you don't remember where you are from? What if you left before you could start remembering?" "No problema," Miss Obi said. "Are there people around you who do remember?" "Like my whole neighborhood," Lola said, "and they're always talking about the island." "Well then," Miss Obi started, "maybe," but Lola finished her sentence. "I should talk to everyone who does remember. I should draw from their memories." "That's a very good plan, Lola," Miss Obi said with a smile. Lola started feeling better about the assignment, but then she saw all the other kids chatting excitedly about what they were going to draw, and it made her sad. Everyone was remembering their first home, even Nelson, who forgot everything. Nelson even forgot his last name once, for like an hour. Lola had always wanted to remember the island, but no matter how hard she tried, she never could. It was like a familiar word, just at the tip of your tongue, but instead of a world, this was an entire world. Lola closed her eyes and tried to recall anything about the island, but nothing came up. She kept trying throughout the school day, and to help her focus, she put her fingers on the sides of her head like her abuela's psychic sometimes did. "Are you okay?" her cousin Letitia asked as they walked home from school together. "I had to draw a picture of the island," Lola explained, "but I was just a baby when we left. Prima, you have to help me." "I don't remember a lot either except for the bats. They were as big as blankets and they used to chase after me at night." "Blanket bats." Lola pulled out her notebook and began to sketch. Letitia stopped Mrs. Bernard, who always sold them crispy empanadas after school. "Mrs. Bernard, what do you remember most about the island?" "Why, the music, of course. The whole country is like the inside of a guira, just like the inside of a drum." "You mean like our neighborhood?" Lola said. "The neighborhood had so much music it was like a radio with the dial broken off." "On the island there's even more music. There's more music than air, and everyone is always dancing. Even in their sleep, people dance." "Sleep dancing," Lola sketched. Letitia led Lola into the barber shop that her brother Jonathan owned. Lola has to do an assignment about the island. She needs to know what you remember most about it. Whippa, said Jonathan, laughing. The agua de coco. How wonderful it tastes when you drink it straight from the coconut. Mr. Rodriguez sat up in his chair. And the mangoes that are the side of your head, and so sweet. They make you want to cry, Lola said. She loved mangoes. That's it exactly. And how much color there is, said the woman waiting with her son. Color for cars and colorful houses and flowers everywhere. Even the people are like a rainbow, every shade ever made. Like us in here, Lola said. Even more color, the woman said. Agua, mango heads, rainbow people. Lolo's trying to keep up. The island sounds so beautiful. Why did we even leave? Well, it wasn't all beautiful, the woman's son said. The heat is on you like 5 bullies. The oldest barber muttered, and other things. Like what? Lola wanted to ask, but the oldest barber had already turned away. In the lobby of their building, the cousins ran into Mr. Muir, the superintendent. Letitia called him out. Hey, Mr. Muir, can you tell us about what you most remember about the island? Nobody cares about that old stuff, Mr. Muir grumbled. Just be glad you don't live there. Don't listen to him, Letitia said. Keep going and call me later if you need any help, okay? I will, said Lola. When Lola got into the elevator, she put her fingers on her temples and closed her eyes. Island, she called like it was a cat. Island! But like a cat, the island did not come. At home, Lola found her abuela at the kitchen table trying to finish a puzzle. Abuela loved puzzles. Abuela, I'm supposed to draw a picture of the island for school, but I don't remember it. Why don't I remember it? Hija, you were just a baby when you left, but the other kids remember. Just because you don't remember a place doesn't mean it's not in you. Will you tell me what you remember most? Lola asked. Of course! What I remember most is the beaches, hija. Our beaches are poetry. You know when you hear your favorite poem? That's how it is to be on our beaches. Fish jump from the waves and into your lap, and at sunset, sometimes the dolphins will come out of the water to bow a good night. And up north, where I'm from, there are even whales on the surf. Beach poetry, dolphins, surfing, whales! Lola sketched as fast as she could. Lola's mother stuck her head in from the kitchen. Hija, what I remember most is the hurricane that hit the island right after you were born. Even the biggest, baddest wolf of all, it huffed and it puffed and it blew thousands of houses in the sky. Where were we? Lola asked, her eyes wide. We were hiding under the bed is where we were, Abuela said. That's right, her mother said. And you know what? You never cried once. You were such a brave little girl. I wish I could remember that, Lola sighed. Well, it happened, her mother said. You might not remember the island, but it remembers you. You really should talk to Mr. Muir, Abuela suggested. He knows more about the island than almost anybody. We tried talking to him, Lola said, but he didn't want to help. Mr. Muir can be a bit grouchy sometimes. Let me talk to Mrs. Muir. I bet we can get him to help. Abuela called downstairs and shouted at Mrs. Muir, who then shouted at Mr. Muir. The old people were always shouting at each other. That's how they talked. Maybe Nelson was an old person in training. Go on down, Abuela said. Mr. Muir said he would try to help. Lola was a little nervous, but that didn't stop her from knocking on the super's door. Mrs. Muir let her in. Look how big you've gotten, Lola. Mr. Muir is in his workshop. Go right in. Mr. Muir looked up from the contraption he was fixing. Your grandma says you've been interviewing people about the island. Lola nodded nervously. Yes, sir. It's for a class assignment. What have they told you? Lola flipped through her sketches. Bat blankets, more music than air, fruit that makes you cry, beach poems, and a hurricane like a wolf. I see, said Mr. Muir. So no one's told you about the monster? Lola's eyes got wide. She shook her head no. Even those who know don't always want to talk about him. Mr. Muir turned towards the old worn map he had of the island. Our island has always been a beautiful place. It was when I was your age, and it is today, but even the most beautiful places can attract a monster. A long time ago, long before you were born, that's exactly what happened. A monster fell upon our poor island. For once, Lola's pencil didn't move. It was the most dreadful monster anyone had ever seen. The whole island was terrified, and no one could defeat it. It was just too strong. For 30 years, the monster did as it pleased. It could destroy an entire town with a single word and make a whole family disappear simply by looking at it. Lola's curly hair was slowly uncurling with fear. Did you see the monster, Mr. Muir? Yes, all the time. Were you scared? We were all very scared. Lola's heart was pounding. So what happened next, Mr. Muir? What should always happen to monsters. Heroes rose up. Strong, smart young women just like you, Lola, and a few strong, smart young men too. They got tired of being afraid and fought the monster. What a titanic battle that was. The whole island shook from their struggle, and the monster tried all of its evil tricks. But in the end, the heroes found the monster's weaknesses and banished it forever. Wow, Lola whispered. What happened to the heroes? No one really knows. It was a long time ago. Mr. Muir took off his glasses and sighed. Anyway, you should get back upstairs. It's getting close to dinner time. Thank you, Mr. Muir, said Lola. Thank you for all of your help. How did it go? Lola's mother asked. It was really good. Lola looked at the blank page in her hands. Lola spent the rest of the night drawing the island. She started out with one page, but she needed more room, so she added another page and then another, and soon she had a book. She worked through dinner, she worked in bed, and was just putting the finishing touches on the cover when her abuela came in to check on her. Abuela picked up a drawing of the final battle, and she got really still. Abuela, did you know about the monster? Of course, hija. Why do you think so many of us are here in the north? Lola put her arms around her abuela. You must have been so scared. Sometimes we were, her abuela whispered, but we were also brave. The next day it snowed. Lola put on her scarf and boots and stuffed her assignment under her coat. Benedicción, Mami! Benedicción, abuela! Benedicción, hija! They both called. Good luck! Mr. Muir was putting trash cans against the curb. Thank you, Mr. Muir, slayer of monsters. He laughed. Good luck, Lola, daughter of heroes. In class, all the students were buzzing about their pictures. Nelson's mother had baked cupcakes for everyone, so it was like a little party. Miss Obie hung the drawings on the wall. Now our classroom has windows, she said. Anytime you want to look at another's first homes, all you have to do is look out the windows. Then Miss Obie reached Lola's desk. So how did it go, Lola? Were you able to remember anything? I tried really, really hard, but nothing came, and that made me feel bad. But then I realized I don't have to feel bad, because even if I'd never set foot on the island, it doesn't matter. The island is me. Nelson snorted. That is so corny. It is not. Nelson, be nice, Miss Obie said. She and the other students gathered around Lola's desk. Nelson made sure he got real close so he could see everything. Lola suddenly got nervous. Go ahead, Lola. Show us. Okay, Lola said. Taking a deep breath, she opened her book, and out burst the island. So that was Islandborn by Junot Diaz. I kind of liked it. It's a different type of immigrant story, and it would be kind of an interesting conversation to have, especially if you have any library patrons or students that immigrated from another place. You could ask them about where they were born, or you could ask students about where their families are from, even if they were born here in America or have lived here for a really long time in America. You could ask them questions about where their grandparents were from, or where they think their family is from, and what they think it would have been like back then. And as far as using the puppets, I think the last picture was really beautiful, and so those are like when all the puppets could come out and you could really just have fun with all the different kinds of animals you see here. And then here's a picture of the bat, so maybe you could use a bat puppet and just kind of have it fluttering nearby while you're reading the story. And then at the last page, with all the animals chasing it away, you kind of just put it down and put it back because now it's gone. So that was Islandborn by Junot Diaz, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks.